The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
It's a Short Time Wrestling podcast on location in Des Moines, Iowa, where I am sitting in the Holiday Inn somewhere around Mercy Hospital as I prepare for my fourth consecutive year announcing the NAIA National Championships. I'll be working with Dort Mayab. She is awesome. She is the wife of Gary Mayab, whom some of you may know from his tenure coaching in the great state of Missouri, now currently the developmental Greco coach at USA Wrestling. So her and I will be working this for the third straight year, my fourth overall. Actually, this will be fourth year. So yeah, I've worked with her all the time. And a couple things that go on at the NAIA Championships. First off, I'm using a little different recording setup. I've got some lav mics that I'm using with my Zoom H6. So you may hear a little bit of room echo here, but not my traditional setup. So I'm going to run through a kind of rudimentary preview of the NAIA Championships. But before I do that, I want to recognize what the NAIA does each and every year, and that's called the Champions of Character. This is something that's their organizational wide. I'm just going to read it to you here. The NAIA Champions of Character Award recognizes individuals from each team as someone who embrace the core values of respect, responsibility, integrity, servant leadership, and sportsmanship in their role as a teammate. This is a situation where tonight, as I record this at approximately 4:30, about an hour and a half from now, I'll start this. Of course, by the time you hear this announcement is already done and over, but I'm going to have the opportunity. I'm going to mention these guys, by name here, and then I will get to, again, that rudimentary preview of the NAIA Championships, which start from the Jacobson Event Center on the campus of the Iowa State Fairgrounds on Friday, March the 1st. This will be, my 8th year, and in every single year I've attended this event or covered it, or been here in some way, shape, or form. Grandview has won. They are the juggernauts of the juggernaut. They are the juggernauts of the NAIA. Nick Mitchell and staff, basically kind of Wartburg 2.0. If you've ever been to a Wartburg after a victory party, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So here are our champions of character for 2019. Grant Anderson of Lourdes, Carlos Apodaca of Embry-Riddle, TJ Bond of the University of Providence, which is in Montana, go figure. Justice Bieland, they've actually spelled this one out for me. So Bieland of York College of Nebraska, Hinto Bollinger of Reinhardt, Logan Bowen of the University of St. Mary, Dayton Brown of Missouri Valley, Logan Chappell of Oklahoma City, Justin Kuhn of Southern Oregon, Nick Desch of Bethany. That's the one in Kansas, because there's also one in West Virginia. Cole Dodd of Lindsey Wilson College, Dakota Drenth of Morningside, Walker Fisher of Concordia University of Nebraska. There's like 30,000 Concordias around the country. Nick Fowler of Calumet College of St. Joseph, Keenan Grafe of Benedictine. That's also the one in Kansas. Gerardo Hernandez of Life Pacific College, a brand new program. They've got their first qualifier ever this year. Harold Craig Hitteberg of Doane, Ian James of Truett McConnell, Silas LeGroux of Simpson University. That's the one in California. Nicholas Lindley of Lindenwood University, Belleville, Jacob Matson of Missouri Baptist, Isaiah McDougall of Midway, first-year program, Blake McNall of Eastern Oregon, Ian Morgan of Menlo, going to page 2, Jamie Mullins of Dickinson State, Jesus Murillo of the University of Jamestown, that's one in North Dakota, Ashton Matua of Campbellsville, Josh Parent of Cumberland University, the one in Tennessee. Of course, there's a Cumberland and a Cumberlands. We'll get to that in a second. Lucas Peterson of Life, Lexington Plummer of Kansas Wesleyan, Nathan Pristovec of Bruton Parker, Noah Reynolds of Bluefield, first-year program. Technically first year. They kind of had their first qualifier this year. They kind of had a half team last year. Coach Jason Welty there. But anyway, Joseph Rios of Wayland Baptist, Drew Sams of Graceland, Chris Sharp of Marion, Bennett Sickink of Northwestern College, the one in Orange City, Iowa, which are the Red Raiders. Again, go figure. Austin Slates of the University of the Cumberlands in Kentucky, Jay Stokes of Montana State Northern, Darion Stokes of Briarcliff, Cooper Thomas of Grandview, Daniel Vargas of Midland, Aaron Vaughn of St. Andrews, Ryan Wall of Ottawa, Caleb Greeling of Hannibal LaGrange, Davion Williams of Indiana Tech, Grant Williams of Oklahoma Wesleyan with their first qualifier also this year, and Brandon Zini of Williams Baptist. So as the verbiage reads, not only do NAIA athletes excel in the competitive field, but we see through these honorees that intentional and directed focus on character development is an integral part of a program's success. So that's what I'll be reading here later. And you guys actually got to get a really bad read of that. So I will be much more formal and free-flowing, as I will not be sounding like the NAIA Champions of Character. No, I'm not going to do like fake announcer voice. So let's run through these weight classes real quick. We got obviously 10 weights. The NAIA, you can qualify 12 wrestlers for the national championships. You enter through their conference qualifiers, and they actually went to an RPI and, kind of very similar to Division One. Their conference allocations came out and they wrestled to those spots. And then after the fact, they came back with some wild cards. But, here's what we got. If I can zoom out my notes, I printed them up, but I'm going to go see if I can print them up. This is kind of hard to see, but oh well. So let's start out. Justin Portillo of Grandview is the top seed. He was third a year ago. The second seed, Sawyer Miller of Indiana Tech. He is a two-time All-American. Of note here, the number 7 seed is Hayden Lee. He's the returning national champion. He is the 7th seed. So think about that. He's down in the bottom half of the bracket. Third seed Keegan Hessler of Morningside. He was an All-American. He finished 6th in 2017. Other All-Americans in the field are Trevor Morano. He's the number 5 seed from Grandview. He was 6th at 133 a year ago. We mentioned Hayden Lee, and then Jordan Martinez of Campbellsville was 8th last year at 125. All told, that weight with 6 All-Americans. I actually had all this written down in terms of the total number of All-Americans. I think I got it on Twitter at Jason M. Bryant. So key matchups there is, remember that the returning national champion from the University of the Cumberlands is the number 7 seed on the bottom half. So this one's going to be pretty tough. So moving to 133, your top seed is Shaquan Hall. He is a junior college transfer. He was a national champion for NIAC, North Iowa area. NIACC, North Iowa area. They just call it NIAC. Back in 2016, spent some time at St. Cloud State before transferring to Grandview. Actually had some pretty good wins at the Reno Tournament of Champions this year. 2-time junior college All-American. He's your top seed. Eric Early, returning runner-up at 133 pounds. He's your number 2 seed. And it looks like Enrique, no, it's Eric. E-R-I-Q-U-E. So you see that it is Eric Early. He is 24-4 this year. Again, returning runner-up. Another returning runner-up. This is Julian Gayton. He's the number 4 seed. He was the runner-up last year at 125 pounds, bumping up to 33 this year. The number 3 seed, Gresh Jones from Dickinson State. Believe Gresh spent a year at Minnesota before heading out. I think he is a Sidney, Montana native, if I am not mistaken. He's the number 4 again, Julian Gayton. He's a 2-time California Community College champion. Other All-American in the field is the number 8 seed, Brady Moser of Lindsey Wilson. He was 7th last year at this weight class, running through the rest of the season. Number 5, Zach Durbin of Missouri Valley. Brandon James, a Division I transfer from Marion. He spent time at Old Dominion and Indiana before landing at Marion, which is in Indianapolis, as I'm mixing words here. Tanner Irwin of Williams Baptist is your 7. Blazin Tarakina of Menlo, he is the 9. And that's pretty much what we got there. 3 returning All-Americans at that weight. 141 pounds. Top seed is David Berg of Midland. He is a 2-time All-American. He's 21-1 this year. He was 3rd the last 2 years. Last year, he was 3rd at 141. The year before, 3rd at 133 pounds. Number 2 seed, Eric Clark of Grandview. Number 3, Trent Johnson of Lindsey Wilson. Gage Torres, returning All-American. He's your number 4 seed. He was 7th last year at 141. A couple more All-Americans in this weight class, and they're seated pretty low. Ethan Owen of Southeastern in Florida. He was 8th at 133. He's coming up a weight class. David Salazar was 8th from Embry-Riddle at this weight class. Those are the 7 and 8 seeds. Your number 10 seed, Jaden Sklapski. He is a 2-time All-American, but he's seated 10th. Did not place last year. Was 5th in 2017 at 149 and 6th the year before at the same weight. He's down at 141. Matt Weber of Montana State Northern, the runner-up last year at 141. He is seeded 11, so you've got, an 11 seed and a 10 seed, both multiple-time All-Americans. He was also 3rd as a freshman back in 2016. So that's how that shakes out. As far as, Matt Weber, number 11 seed, returning finalist. That's nutty on how deep the NAIA has gotten over the years. Of course, this is where we're seeing a ton of growth at the college level. 149 pounds. This one also going to be a very competitive weight. We got 2-time All-American Trey Leon of the University of the Cumberlands. He was a match away from placing at the Midlands this year. 23-2. The number 2 seed, Devin Reynolds, returning All-American from Grandview. He was 3rd a year ago. Chandler Michael of Southern Oregon, 6th a year ago. He's your number 3 seed. Terrell Sidner is your number 4. Number 5 is Josh Wenger, a 2-time All-American. 20 and 6 this year, was a national champion at 141 pounds back in 2017. And again, returning national champion coming, or actually past. You can get into semantics on what's returning. There is no such thing as a defending champ in wrestling, because if you lose, you don't actually lose your title. So, little, English lesson for you there. Justin Atkinson, number 7 seed. He is a returning All-American, as is Sean Roberts. He's the number 9 seed from University of Providence, which was formerly known as Great Falls. But 2 guys that are unseeded that are returning All-Americans. Life's Mason Calvert. He was 6th last year at 141 pounds. And Dante Preciado of Northwestern College. He was 8th at 141 a year ago. So a couple returning All-Americans are going to be drawn into the bracket there. This weight very deep. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 returning All-Americans in this weight class, including a national champion who was the number 5 seed. Moving on, 157 pounds, Nosomi Pozo, the returning national champion. He was a 2-time junior college national champion at NAIA back in 2014, 2015, was Life's first national champion a year ago, right here in this building, or in that building. Undefeated on the season. Brandon Weber, the returning finalist. These are 2 returning finalists at the weight class. Seeded 1-2, Brandon Weber of Montana State Northern. He was a national champion his sophomore year. And then, so first, then in second, Pozo comes in. So you had 2 returning national champs seeded 1-2 there. James Williams of Embry-Riddle is the 7th seed. It was a 7th placer last year. He's the 3rd seed. Stephen Lawrence of Grandview, a junior college All-American a year ago at Ellsworth. He is the 4. Names that you might recognize: Ronaldo Rodriguez Spencer of Grandview. He is the 5, so you could have teammates there in the quarterfinals. 4-5. Dylan Chatterton of Southeastern, returning All-American. He is your number 6 seed. Other seeds of note are Casey Dobson of Providence. He was 3rd a year ago. He is the number 9 seed. And unseeded Brett Johnson of Marion. He was their first All-American in school history last year after finishing 6th at 165. Not a whole lot of matches on the year, therefore he is not seeded. So dangerous unseeded All-American draw right there at 157. 165 pounds, your top seed returning finalist Adrian Lyons Lopez, although he's coming down from 174, where he was a runner-up last year. He was also 2nd at the NJCAA championships, which also go on this weekend. They're out in Council Bluffs. He's from Southwestern Oregon Community College initially, where he was 2nd at 174 back in 2017. Another junior college runner-up, that's Brett Bradford of Lindsey Wilson. He is the number 2 seed. He was 2nd in the NJCAA in 2017 at 157 pounds. So your top 2 seeds here were junior college finalists 2 years ago, but at 157 and 174, they're meeting here in the middle. Catch weight at 165. Eastern Oregon's Drake Randall, your number 3. Graceland's Brennan Swafford, the number 4. Ryan Niven of Grandview, he's the number 5. He was 3rd a year ago, and he's also has some junior college credentials, was 5th back in 2015 for Iowa Central. Andrew Bartell of Montana State Northern is your 6th seed. He was 4th a year ago, and other All-Americans to keep an eye on. Nathan Pristovec of Bruton Parker. He was 5th at 157 pounds back in 2016. He's back on the mats for the Barons. And the number 10 seed, Andrew Null of Northwestern College. He was 5th last year at 165. Moving to 174. Luke Lovern, returning national champion from Baker. This guy is a freaking hammer. He's just tough. He's given people some fits on the D1 level. He took Taylor Lujan of Northern Iowa into overtime last year in an open tournament. He's undefeated. He's a junior. He's 33-0. He's just one bad dude. His his potential finals opponent, the number 2 seed from Life, Lucius van Rensburg. And if you know anything about naming conventions, yes, South African. He is from South Africa by way of Southwestern Oregon Community College, where he finished 3rd at the Junior College Nationals back in 2017. He's a number 2 seed. Reinhardt's Michael Carew is your number 3 seed. Number 4 seed, Nathan Walton of Cumberland University. Lawton Benna, past national champion, a 3-time All-American. He is the only guy in the field, I believe, that is looking to become a 4-time NAIA All-American. I could be wrong on that, but just at first glance, he was 2nd as a freshman, won it as a sophomore, was 5th last year. He is the number 5 seed. Number 6 seed, Chase Vincent of Oklahoma City. The only other All-American in the field, Embry-Riddle's Cody Davis, was 7th at 165 pounds. Here you go. He's unseeded. So unseeded All-American there at 174. 184 pounds, Antonio Stewart, who last year became Reinhardt's first All-American in school history. He's undefeated. He was 4th in the country last year at 184 pounds. He's your top seed. Menlo's Anthony Orozco, returning All-American. He was 3rd at 174 pounds a year ago, was 4th the year before while wrestling at Benedictine. So Orozco of Menlo will be your number 2 seed. Artie Bess of Grandview, your number 3. Joseph Robinson of Lindenwood Belleville, their number 4. Riley Jaramillo, name you might remember. He spent some time at Oregon State. He is at St. Mary with former Oregon coach Chuck Carney. So he's the number 5. Couple All-Americans to keep an eye on. Doan Zach Linton, very outspoken, talented wrestler, was second last year at 184 pounds. A little bit of drama going on at Doan. They just fired their head coach 2 weeks before Nationals, so there's some craziness going up there in Doan, Nebraska. Jacob Smith of Baker, returning All-American 6 last year at 184. He is your 7 seed. Those are your top seeds there. Brooks Clemens, anybody remember him? Number 1 in the country at one point coming out of Georgia. He's your number 8 seed at this weight class, and he's at Bruton Parker. So keep an eye on I think his old Twitter handle was My Man Brooks. Moving 197 pounds, Evan Hansen. For some reason, there's a Broadway reference there that I learned from Aaron Swayze, but Evan Hansen of Grandview, 2-time national champion, 15-1 on the year. Only loss on the year is to Willie Miklas of Iowa State. He is your top seed. Isaac Bartell, a sophomore from Montana State Northern, returning All-American. He was 30 a year ago. He's your number 2 seed. Your number 3 seed from Baker, David Dow. He's a 2-time All-American, was 5th a year ago, 8th the year prior at this weight class. Embry Riddle's Eli Mason, returning All-American, 4th at the junior colleges 3 years ago for Highline. So All-Americans are even going deeper. Your number 5 seed is Diallo Matsamela of Life. Providence has John Hensley, who was 5th a year ago at 197 pounds. I mean, just All-Americans everywhere. Luis Peguero is number 7. University of the Cumberland's Eric DeLuce, All-American last year at 197. He is your number 8 seed. This is the deepest weight in the tournament. And even jumping down to your number 10 seed, Tanner Fisher of Southern Oregon, All-American a year ago. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's just a ton of weight, ton of depth there. But Evan Hansen is the class of the field. So talent-wise at heavyweight, Brandon Reed of Lindsey Wilson, a sophomore. He was 4th a year ago. He's your number 1 seed, followed by Matt Hopkins of Providence. Corey Walker, who was 4th 3 years ago for Oklahoma City. Quandre Chisholm of the University of the Cumberlands is your 4 seed. He's a returning All-American, as is Jesse Gomez of Missouri Valley, the 5. Bryson McGowan of Oklahoma City, the 6th. And keep an eye on Sean Beeson of Graceland, junior college All-American 2 years ago while at Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. So that is a quick run through. Oh yeah, the team race, Grandview and everybody else. I don't want to sound like, there's a ton of schools that brought, Indiana Tech brought 12. I think Reinhardt brought 12. Let's just say that this is, the question is, it's going to be a total, 60 some schools against Grandview to see if, to prevent the Vikings from winning their 8th straight title. And this is in their home city. So Grandview's campus not that far away from the state fairgrounds, but that's kind of the NAIA wrap up, your champions of character. And as we are talking postseason college wrestling, the NJCAAs are also this weekend. I mentioned that earlier, but also that Matt Talk Online Division I fan guide available for pre-order. Go to WrestlingPreviewGuide.com. And if you use the promo code JB, go to WrestlingPreviewGuide.com/JB. It will save you $5. It also tells me that you actually use the promo code by listening to these podcasts, because I've got promo codes floating around for various things. Like if you listen to the newsletter, there's one there. I'm just curious on where you guys are getting these promo codes from. So it'll be over 200 pages. It's historical. It's current data. It's going to be crazy. It's something that if you've got a fantasy wrestling league at fantasygrade.com through David Mercatani and that crew that's drafting at the Yard or the American Wrestling League, I think there's an online thing there. It's different from the AWL. There's a couple of them out there. And if you've got one with your friends, this is like the perfect draft kit for you. So WrestlingPreviewGuide.com. It retails for $19.99. But if you use that promo code JB or WrestlingPreviewGuide.com/JB, it will save you $5, be $14.99, and it will be the best money you spend when it comes to information about the NCAA Division I championships. That's all I got for now. I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me as I'm here in Des Moines at my echoing hotel room, because you've always got time for short time. The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. Hey, you know what? Did you like the show? You want to hit that subscribe button? MattTalkOnline.com/listen. Various different ways to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcatcher of choice. And if you're already subscribed, you already listened, you love the show, and you want to support this show and this network, MattTalkOnline.com/join the team. Become a team member today.